And I see that we're live here on World of Pets podcast. And I'm here with my special guest, n- just Anthony now? I thought it was the amazing Anthony. But let me go through our sponsors real quick because one of our sponsors is here tonight. And that would be Debbie Hayes at debspets.com, DEBSPETS.com. And oh my gosh, Emily Gomer at World of Ability podcast, and that would also be on YouTube as well. But I'm going to do a shameless plug. If you're a Rumble fan, come find Peyton Poo. That's PeytonPoo on Rumble, and you'll find me doing a politics and prayers segment as often as I can get to it. With that, Anthony,
Hola,
introduce our very special host.
the host tonight is our original, the OG of World of Pets podcast, and that is Miss Debbie Hayes. Yeah, woo, Debbie.
Thank you,
Full
guys.
round. The full round.
Four round, yes.
Okay, so last week these two did an amazing saying goodbye to your fur baby part one. And I'm going to say part two. And I have my Kleenex. Hopefully, I won't need it too much. So I didn't have pets growing up. It was actually my second marriage. I was like in my 30s, and my husband's like, oh, yeah, I always have a dog. We're going to have a dog. And so one of the very first episodes that we did on here was how do you choose your pet? And that first dog that we went to see was in a litter that seemed, my recollection was it was fairly good sized, and they were all in this enclosure that was small. And so my idea of how you choose your pet is which one is the pet that's like running over, stepping on all the others, basically going, choose me, I want to go home with you. And that's how we chose that pet.
Mm-hmm.
It was totally different this last time with the guy that I just said goodbye to, because there's a fella here in town that takes in, he has a really big backyard, and he takes in stray dogs. So he took in this mother, and she had 10 puppies.
Oh my gosh.
And this guy was one of them. And I still don't remember exactly. I mean, he must have been the one that seemed to warm up with us, but they were just spread all over the yard. It was a totally different situation than that other one where they were stepping on each other and so forth. Anyway, this fellow's grandchildren had named the dogs, and the one that we chose, he had named Bob, or they had named Bob, which was fine, except for my husband was alive at the time, and his name was also Bob. So I don't know why. I mean, the puppy's like 7 weeks old. He's not going to notice. But we just, I guess, didn't want to change his name. So we got him home, and I'm calling him Bob the dog. And my son got wind of that, and he's going, no, Mom, that's not right. So he became Little Bob. So sort of a funny story. I used to take Little Bob to the dog park regularly. And my branch manager of my bank also took his dogs. So my dog was about, when at his healthiest, was like 40 to 45 pounds. Little Bob was. So Nathan had this one little short, I'm not even sure, I can't remember what breeds they were, but had this one like little tiny dog and another medium-sized one like Little Bob. So he had to come to the large dog side of the dog park. Well, his little dog was named Bob, and my bigger dog was named Little Bob. So people that were new to the dog park would get confused, and they would call his dog Little Bob. I don't know why he was like this, but he would go, that's not Little Bob, that's Bob. Little Bob's over there. It made no sense that he would be getting so exercised over it. But anyway, that's just a little thing. So, Emily, can we have the picture, please? I've got one picture that I'm going to highlight here. If you can see, sorry for the tray table and so forth that it's not cropped, but little Bob had been sick for a couple of days and he was on the couch. I don't know if that's like the first time that we let him on the couch. My husband's deceased now. My brother and I are actually roommates. And so he was feeling better and he was making it known that he was ready to eat something, but he wouldn't get up off the couch and go into the kitchen to eat. So my brother went and got him his dish and put it, as you can see, right by the sofa. And we thought that he would get off of the couch and eat in a normal dog manner and then get back on the couch. But I don't know if she can make that bigger or not. But I mean, that I call that his upside down eating picture, because literally he's got his hind paws on the couch, his front paws on either side of the dish on the floor, and he's eating like he's upside down. So I think that's one of the funniest things that he did.
It looks like me after a workout.
Yeah, I know. He wasn't doing it for push-ups though. He was doing it because he didn't want to give up his spot on the couch.
Me either.
That's what I think.
So cute.
Last fall, my brother and I both went away, and I took him over to Tracy. I want to give a shout out to Tracy. She does pet sitting in her home. She actually started pet sitting because of little Bob, which is another story. But I took her over there because, like I said, my brother and I are both out of town. And she texted me and she goes, "He is so skinny." And I was so embarrassed when I got home and I looked at him and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not see this? So we started feeding him. I'm sorry, you can criticize me if you want, but I'm not one to run to the doctor. So we started feeding him 3 times a day. We were giving him the food from debspets.com, which is very nutrient rich. And I think he did gain a little bit of weight for a while. My brother was so sweet to him. Like I said, we didn't have pets growing up, and my brother would take him for a walk. The first time they went, I'm like, "You were gone a long time. Where did you go?" And he goes, "Oh, we walked over to the dog park and back." Well, it's 2 miles each way to the dog park. So he would take him for these marathon long walks almost every day. And also, of course, he always wanted to go in the car with us, or either one of us leaving someplace. And then in February, they'd get back and Bill would say he didn't do very well on the walk, or he took the short way home. Because, when you're walking your dog and you have a choice of going path A or path B, and the dog knows path A is longer, almost always he'll take path A. And he started taking path B. And so he didn't have that anymore that he really liked. And then I said that he had good taste because several years ago I bought a Sleep Number bed, and it was one of the lower end ones price wise, and he could care less about it. I mean, he would get up there, but it wasn't a big deal. Well, I traded up and got a better bed, and every single day, all day, he was up there in that bed. And then about 3 weeks before, we started to hear this little thump that we knew was him not being able to make it onto the bed. But he wouldn't let Bill pick him up and put him on the bed. He just kept trying, and sometimes he would make it up there and sometimes he wouldn't. And finally he quit trying. So that was another thing that he liked that was taken away from him.
What was this?
But he still went
What?
upstairs every day and laid down in the loft and slept up there. And then a couple days before, we have 2 steps and then we have a landing and then we have the other steps. I saw him go up the 2 steps to the landing, look at the other steps, and then turn around and come back down. And at that point, I knew that he had no quality of life. And if there's one message that I want to repeat a couple of times and get across to people, it's please pay attention to your pet's quality of life, because it's not fair to them to hang on just because you don't want to say goodbye to them.
I agree. Yeah.
So, I'll look at my notes here. So those last few days, he was, if he had gotten some rest, he would get up and he would be able to walk normally for a little bit. But then he would start, his hind end would start like dropping, and he would like be squat walking around. And then at one point he would lose his balance, and then he couldn't get up because he couldn't get traction, because we don't have any carpet or anything downstairs, and he couldn't go upstairs, as I said. And I didn't even think about the fact that if he couldn't go upstairs, that meant that he wasn't going to be able to tell me when he needed breakfast. So that one day, which would have been Friday, it was like 20 of 7, and he always got me up at least by 6. And I'm like, Debbie, all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, what are you doing laying here thinking that it's great that you can stay in bed a little while longer? Something's got to be wrong. So I went down, and he was outside, and I fed him and he ate. And through this, like last week or so, my friends that introduced me to the parent company of Pet Club, of Deb's Pets, were sort of guiding me along. And then little Bob started going into these small places, and I was just like guiding him out. So to back up a little bit, another accident that he had, and this was several months ago, he somehow, which we couldn't see, he ran into the wall in the stairwell. You just got that horrible sound, like you could tell that his skull was hitting the wall. And somehow he made it down the stairs without us going up before we had time to recover and go check on him. But his body was just contorted. I don't have a picture of how it looked, luckily, but I just know that it was horrible. And he straightened himself out from that pretty good, quick. Then he was sort of acting like he'd been drinking. Then he was pacing. When he went outside, he wasn't always clear on how to get back inside. So when he started going in these little spots, I thought that it was just whatever occurred with his brain when he hit that wall was getting worse. And I want to say kudos to Kurt and Gail, because they didn't try to explain to me at that time that he was looking for a place for his last breath. Because I think they didn't want to influence my decision.
Sure.
And I really appreciate that from them. So I had texted, both my daughter and son-in-law had just left like the day before. My brother had been out of town for a while, and he was going to be out of town for another week. And I texted him and I said, well, it'll be telling whether he eats tonight or not. He'd been eating every meal. He didn't act like he had any hearing left, but doggone it, when you put that dish down in the kitchen, even though he was upstairs on my bed, he'd be down there in a heartbeat to eat. But on Friday night, he didn't eat. Saturday morning, he didn't eat, having really bad, like I said, with this, holding himself up. And And then I found out about, why he was going in the small spaces. So I knew it was time to say goodbye. I felt very peaceful, I guess, that I had met this gal named Paula at a pet networking group that I go to. Those people at that pet networking group, a lot of them have been guests on here for us. So, and she was one. And her business is actually aquamation, which is cremation by water. And even though they can't feel anything, obviously, at that time because they're gone, I felt very comfortable.
Sure.
Knowing that she was going to take care of him.
Sure.
So I want to thank her, Paula from Choya Afterlife in Tucson, well, Marana technically. And she gave me the name of somebody who did euthanasia at home. But that person ended up not working on the weekend, and this was a Saturday. And I just couldn't keep him going because he was in, such distress with these various things. And she did tell me about a vet that is open all weekend. So that was great too. And Continental Ranch Pet Clinic, I'd like to thank them. So was the end.
What are your favorite memories, Deb?
Yeah.
Favorite one? We're all in tears right now. So,
like I said.
Here, hold up. Okay.
Thank
I gotta
you,
bring
David.
I brought that out just for that reason.
Yep.
So
yeah, I want to repeat, please be mindful of the quality of life that your pets have.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump off and I'm going to get on YouTube so that if there are comments on YouTube, I can send them up to Anthony. Anthony, you can do two things at once, right? You can tell about the new cat and keep an eye on your phone.
I can try. What'd she say, Claire or Brody?
So thank you all for listening. I appreciate, this is something that'll really make me cry, but to end with this. Gail said to me,
by the way, God bless you, Kurt and Gail Weeks. You're awesome people.
Gail said to me, did he look you in the eye? And show you his soul? Did he look you in the eye and show you his soul? And I would have to say that by the time he did that, I already knew that he didn't have a quality of life. So I had already made up my mind. So he really wasn't telling me anything that I didn't know. But I thought that that's another important thing for people to be looking for.
Yeah.
So with that, I will leave. Emily, I think you're going to need to get me out of here, right? Since I didn't sign in.
There's a red button on the bottom.
Red button with an arrow. Stands for
Mine has an X. But Deb, thank you so much for sharing. I know it was hard for you. It's
Definitely. Yeah.
always emotional for us to see a friend to go through hardship. I wanted to just add before we talk about the new kitty cat. Again, here's paint poo. Paint poo. I painted him, by the way. It's not painting poo, it's paint poo. But my best friend Donna Evans, we had a memorial service at my sister's painting studio, Brush Crazy, and she painted paint and poo.
Nice.
And when we did the memorial, I always forget to bring this up. Let's get the camera angle right. So it's Peyton Wolfram, and they were so kind to do that with the paw print and all that stuff. And so I've got his little envelope here.
Is that his actual paw print, David?
That's his
Yeah.
paw print and his nose print too. I was like,
Oh,
dude,
Wow.
I'm melted.
yeah, that's awesome.
Because every time that I go to bed with him, he would snuggle up under my armpit and just be breathing and snoring in my nose. And as soon as I'd fall asleep, then he'd go down to my butt.
Nice.
But also this celebration of life that we was at the party, the painting party that we did. So I think things like this really helped me recover quickly from mine loss of Peyton. 16 years, that's a long time
Yep.
to have a special needs dog. And oh, here's the kitty. All right, so we go from the special needs dog to now a special needs cat that's going to start knocking stuff off of every counter space while you tell her not to do it, by the way.
There she is. That's the new kitty cat. That's Tate.
Yep. Tate's gonna be on there. I can tell you already. I
Yeah.
can see the look. I can see the look.
Look at that. Well, I mean, I think that's just a cat's look.
I don't know. Some are different. Some are different. But yeah, the what I hearing Debbie's story, hearing how attached we get to animals, there does come a time when you got to let them go. I unfortunately have only had short notice opportunities to say goodbye. So, Anthony, do you have anything you'd like to add to that before we add to the kitty cat talk?
No, I mean, ours, when we had to let her cat go, it was a week ago Sunday, so about a week and a half ago now. Excuse me. I mean, it was last minute notice as well. We were not expecting it. The cat seemed to suddenly get sick. It seemed to come out of nowhere. And as Deb was saying, as difficult as it is, and none of us are saying it's an easy thing, but as difficult as it is, you've got to think about the quality of life for the animal. And sometimes saying goodbye and letting it go and making sure it's no longer suffering is the best that we can do for that animal. And I think that's important to consider. And that was the situation with her first cat there, Toby. And so now we went today and we got Tate, and Tate looks a lot like Toby, actually. They look very similar.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, so I'm glad, man. I look forward to all the stories and videos that we can share of your kitty cat in the near future, and
I think the
all that
dog's,
good stuff. So,
I think the dog's already unsure. The dog's like, what do we have here? I just got rid of one. Now you brought another one in here.
oh, that's funny. Did they get along though? Did your previous?
Toby and Cobb did. Yeah, they were both just as ornery. Like sometimes the dog Cobb would be laying there minding her own business, and out of nowhere here'd come Toby and just jumping on top of her and wrestling and rolling. And sometimes it would be the opposite. Toby would just be laying there minding his own business, his tail slapping down, like a cat's tail slaps down. And then all of a sudden here comes Cobb, jumping on, and getting Toby all worked up. But yeah, they pretty well put each other through the ringer.
So fun.
They
So
fought
fun.
like cats and dogs.
Yeah. Well, it takes me back to thinking about Peyton when my daughter lived with me for a little while. She had a cat named Asia. Still has the cat, by the way. But she and Peyton would just lay there and cuddle like the whole time. They're like, "Where's? Oh, there you are. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna go lay down next to you. Okay, where are you? Okay, cool. Let's just go
Mhm.
cuddle over in this spot." And so you can see the dynamics between the two breeds for sure. If they're raised together, they get along because they have to deal with the same parents and or children. So I, I think they're their own coping mechanism to get along with humanity. If I had to put it into a different set
There
of
you go.
perspective.
There you go.
So
Oh,
yeah, anything else to add tonight, brother?
um, no, I mean, I think, between last week and this week, I think we pretty well covered it all. And I think it's incredible to, um, just to have these animals and these pets as a part of our lives. They really do become a part of the family because of the fun and the support and the love that they provide. And the one thing that we can learn from animals, I think all of us should learn from, is unconditional love. Those animals love you seemingly no matter what, and they're there to cheer you up and to play with you and have good times, and they provide the best of memories. And I think that's one thing that we can learn. Humans aren't animals, but it's one thing we can learn from animals is what it means to love unconditionally. And that's the way we're supposed to love. That's the way Scripture commands us to love. And
Right.
sometimes we struggle with that.
Yep. And to forgive always.
Mhm.
And so I am going to let Peyton do the outro. He's going backwards this time. And we're going to support our sponsors once again. Emily, thank you so much for engineering. You can find her other work on World of Ability podcast on YouTube. You can find pet and human wellness tips and supplements at debspets.com. That's DEBSPETS.com. And you can support me over on Rumble at Peyton Pooh. Yes, he's my avatar. Avatar, Peyton Pooh, because he's always got a story to tell about politics and religion. So, with that, God bless you, Anthony. God bless your family.
Text me the link for the Rumble thing.
I
So
will.
I'll talk to you about what's going on my end on the show if you want. So,
Perfect. Yeah, because I'm gonna definitely interview you there as well as soon as we figure out the nuts and bolts of that.
yeah, so
So
just email me the whatever it is, the handle or the username or whatever,
it's
or
Peyton
text
Pooh. Peytn.
Pooh P-O-H.
Poo.
Oh, okay.
It's Peyton Pooh.
Okay.
like the emoji.
Gotcha.
So
You can just do a football and a poop football for Peyton and a poop emoji.
well, all right. So we'll close out with this story. So, my wife came home from on the road with a dachshund named Daisy, and she was a little tiny, teeny, tiny puppy. I was like, "Where'd you get that dog?" And she's like, "On the way back into town." I was like, "Oh, okay." So take me out and show me where you got it. So I went out and I had to have my own dog. And like we said, when the dogs came out to you, that is literally the thing. This is the one dog that came to me 2 weeks in a row. It was a long haired dachshund, and we named him Duke. So Daisy ran away one day when my wife went to Indiana. Sad story. But then we were trying to help this military family, and that's when we adopted one of their dachshunds, and that was Bella. So at some point, they made a baby called Peyton. But the name that we had to come up with, because my wife was from Indiana, I was going to name him Elway. Okay,
Ah, yes.
Colorado native, right?
Yeah.
But she's like, we put it out there to the family for a vote, and of course, it came back Peyton. So when I had to start calling all the dogs at the same time, it was Dookie Doo, Bella Boo, Peyton Poo. Get your butt in the kennel.
Well, I mean,
And
and
that's where
Elway,
Peyton Poo came from.
but you can't be too bent out of shape about Peyton. I mean, Peyton Manning's only one of the top 5 best quarterbacks of all time. So,
I've got the Super Bowl 50 jersey of the Welker, his
Elway might be in
last.
the top 25 or 30, but Peyton is definitely in the top 5 all time.
Well, when I say that, it was his last touchdown throw was to Welker's. So
Oh, there you
yeah,
go.
I'm pretty proud to wear that jersey when I can. And it is a Bronco jersey.
There you go. Of course. Of course.
All right, brother. God bless you. God bless you all out there. Emily, thanks again. Miss Deb, if you need to talk some more with either of us, of course. Anthony, why don't you tell us about how everybody can get a hold of us when they need to?
Well, hey, Kurt's joined us. Hello, Kurt. Well, you can just get a hold of us. Please chat in the comments. Go ahead and let us know. We always want you to know that you're valued and you're loved, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And we'd rather have a 3 a.m. conversation with you than to wake up a few hours later and hear your name in the headlines. So please reach out to us if we can talk or help or point you in the right direction or put you in touch with somebody else. Whatever we can do, we want to do. So we love you guys. Go in peace, and we'll see you next time.
God bless you all.